The start of the year is always a time of motivation and renewed energy and focus, of setting goals and being rejuvenated. People still set goals and resolutions, even though we all know that an incredibly high percentage of New Year's resolutions are forgotten within the first month. The motivation to endure through the first couple of months can be really hard to maintain. Is that the fault of the person or the goal or the resolution they chose or the pressures of life and society? Maybe it's a combination of all three. Whatever the cause, it's hard to maintain the motivation that you feel at the beginning of a goal or a resolution. Permaculture talks about the value of catching and storing energy. Nature provides a multitude of energy forces that we can harness for the benefit of human life. You've got sun, wind, water, geothermal, magnetic. These are all incredibly powerful sources of energy that can power our lives in a physical way. You could say that motivation is an energy force, right? When you have sufficient motivation, you can achieve a staggering amount of action and results. But where does that motivation come from? Perhaps after making a resolution and starting a new action, for example, I'm only going to eat healthy food from now on. Maybe you return to some old familiar habits. This happens because there's a part of your brain that will resist change. Like, I miss chocolate. It will try to convince you that things are fine the way they were, and there was no need to change. That survival part of your brain will actually attack the motivation that you had to do this in the first place. This happens even when the more intelligent parts of your brain know for a fact that the change you're trying to achieve is very important for your growth and development. Perhaps the pressures of life get in the way. Starting a new activity during holidays is super easy. I'm going to do 30 minutes of yoga every single day. And then every day of your summer holiday starts with this wonderful routine. And then you get back home, back to work, and suddenly that time availability disappears. Finding the time and motivation to continue is really hard. Even to complete a shorter period of time is hard to find. Your day is back to the old routine, and there wasn't time to do it beforehand, and so there's no time to do it now. Perhaps you want to stop a bad habit. I want to quit smoking. And resolutions like this to break an addiction are one of the hardest but the most rewarding to achieve. It is very possible, and even doing it with just willpower alone is achievable. But what happens when you fall off the wagon and you cave into cravings and break that resolution? You could feel discouraged, like you failed, and so you stop trying. Perhaps you see this resolution as a single decision and not the reality that breaking an addiction is a journey. It's a process of making many consecutive choices to stay on track and keep trying over and over again, and accepting that there will be lots of bumps along the road, and it needs to be a continuous motivation to stay on or keep returning to that track. Consider the extreme examples of motivation and the stories we hear, such as a mother who's trapped in a car and she finds the power and the strength to move the car with her own two hands to save her child, presumably being sufficiently motivated by her love for her child and the imminent danger. If we look at less extreme examples, perhaps there's been a time when you were struggling with procrastination and then an assignment's due, and your whole semester of school depends on getting a really good grade on this assignment. And so you suddenly find the motivation to stay up all night to finish it. The energy force of motivation comes from within. I could talk for hours on the wonders of the brain and the sorts of things it's capable of, but perhaps I'll do that another time. Let's not get distracted. Last month, we discussed the wheel of life and how it can offer a holistic approach to your personal development in setting goals and really making a positive impact on your life when you use it together with an impact matrix. But now that you've chosen that goal, you need to make sure that you achieve it and that it doesn't end up on the heap of forgotten commitments and broken promises you've made to yourself. The solution to this problem of struggling to maintain motivation can be found in each of the 4 values of be true, love the earth, community, and structure. You can maintain motivation to achieve your goals when you are true to yourself and what's really important to you. Choosing goals that are at the core of your personal values will provide an automatic source of motivation to achieve them. The result that you want to achieve will create a powerful magnet pulling you towards that result. The actions required to achieve the goal will have less resistance when you compare that to the actions for a goal that isn't really linked to your core values. And so what are your core values? What is really important to you? When you consider this, don't worry about what you think they should be. Be honest with yourself. Be really true to yourself and consider what really lights you up inside. Your goals need to be connected to these values. If one of your core values is family, then your goal could be something specific and measurable that would improve the relationships within your family, for strengthening bonds and contributing what is needed to ensure success within your family. When the challenges come that threaten to make your goal or resolution fall over, your compass towards your core value of family can fire up the motivation to keep going. You can maintain motivation to achieve your goals when you love the earth and all of nature. The perspective that we hold regarding our place on this earth can impact so much of what we do. I use the framework of permaculture to find solutions to my challenges because I believe that nature always has the answer. You can do the same as you spend time in nature to feel the beauty and the balance of nature, to appreciate what the earth provides. When you show love and respect to the earth, you will find the way forward. You can maintain motivation to achieve your goals when you build your community, and then lean on your community when you need support to help you achieve your goals and stick to your resolutions. Remember that you are part of a network, and there is a strength and a support available from within your community. Reach out to trusted people for support. Share your goals and the things you want to achieve. And when things don't go to plan, they can help you to remind you and to stay on track. You can maintain motivation to achieve your goals when you use a structure. When you develop and stick to a plan, a method of how to get from where you are to where you want to be, the structure of that plan provides stability and resilience to the opposition and resistance that you will experience as you try to improve your life or business. Rely on that structure to get you through and use it to your advantage. You can structure your time around the actions that you must do to move forward. You can make them the priorities that everything else needs to work around. So how do you catch and store your motivation to get through the times when you would typically give up on those goals and resolutions? Kinetic energy is produced from movement and is often captured to produce power. So that means that action is a source of power. Action is the solution to the problem of procrastination. It appears that in true permaculture style, the solution is found in the problem. When you lose motivation and can't get that action going that you were so committed to just a short while ago, the solution is action, any action. Procrastination, lack of motivation, losing momentum, it all comes from neurological resistance to the resolution or goal that you're trying to achieve. But on the flip side, the neurological receptors that need to get going again can be fired up by a different action that isn't so threatening. As you carry out the non-threatening activity, the walls of resistance to your goal will come down, and hey presto, you're back in the groove again. Give this a try next time you know you should be doing something, but you just can't find the headspace to do it. Take your attention off that action for a moment and divert it to something that you do enjoy doing, something that's active, which means that binge watching Netflix is out, but something that is engaging and productive and beneficial. You're not avoiding the action you should be doing, you're preparing for it and distracting that primitive brain, that put up that resistance in the first place. The key to this exercise is planning. Take a moment when you're in a good headspace to prepare a prompter card that will mean when that lull and the energy funk sets in, you don't have to try to think of something to do. You just pull out your prompter card and pick one of the activities that you've already identified. The intention is to do this Kickstarter activity, which should take no more than 10 minutes. It could even be just 2 or 3 minutes. And then have another go at the action that you were supposed to be doing the first time. The other side of the solution to lacking motivation is the connection to your core values. As we discussed already, in the focus on being true to yourself, having actions that you can clearly see charting a course to your deepest desires, which are connected to your strongest core values, provides a boost of motivation before you've even started. When you're in a good headspace and feeling like your ultimate goal is clear to see, write down all of the things that connect your immediate goal and the action you need to take with your ultimate vision for your life. Write a list of the chain of events that will occur to get you there. Draw a picture of what it looks like, or do whatever you do best to express your imagination and the vision you have for yourself, and create a clear step-by-step course of how this is going to go. So now we fast forward to next week, and your motivation is bottomed out after a big stressful week, and your internal dialogue is getting pessimistic, and you're tired, and there's this action that you wanted to commit to. Let's say that you committed to write in your journal every week, and you really just want to sit down and watch TV. Let's see how this may play out using these two motivational tools. You pull out your prompter card that you prepared last week, and your goal or your resolution is write my journal each week. And the core values that we're connecting to is family and love the earth and be true. So the benefits of the goal that I'm trying to achieve is to organize my thoughts. And another benefit of what we're doing is to express what I'm feeling. Now, then we go over to the next column, which is the reason these benefits are important. So organizing my thoughts will help me to get to the core of what's really going on. And the next column over, that will bring me closer to my core value of being true to myself. The other benefit, express what I'm feeling. The reason that's important is because it can identify how what I'm feeling is impacting my relationships with my family. And so that brings me closer to my core value of my family. By completing this exercise to begin with, you are catching the essence of your motivation, and you're catching the energy to be stored, saved, and preserved, so that when you're running low on energy and motivation, you can then tap into your reserves and find that motivation to get going again. On the other side of your prompter card, there is a list of activities that can be used to kickstart your motivation again. Each of these suggested activities should take no longer than 10 minutes. So just even 2 or 3 could do the trick. They need to be physically active to generate that kinetic energy and engage one or more of your senses. And you would make a list of activities that are really simple, they're familiar, that you really enjoy, so that there's no resistance to doing them. Even when you find yourself in a motivational slump, and you can still get that energy to do them. For this example, you might have recorded a few ideas like, I've got a couple of yoga stretches, my favorite yoga stretches, or perhaps I could dance along to one of my favorite songs, and especially if you pick a song that's very upbeat and active. When you need to find motivation, pick 1 or 2 of these activities, and then together with your prompter card reminding you of how your goals and your resolutions will take you closer to your core values, see if that makes a difference to the resistance you're feeling towards doing it. And if you connect with me, you can get a free template PDF to print up and write out your own answers by hand. It's really important to write it up by hand. It's a whole other thing to talk about another time. But keep it handy to use whenever your motivation slump comes along.